Okay, so this video is about using the BSoft software in conjunction with our Be The First 3D printer. And what we're going to be doing today is using Autodesk Inventor files, or the stereolithography files produced on Autodesk Inventor to produce a 3D print. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the software, which is here, the BSoft software. And that opens up a grid like view on the screen, and the grid is obviously where we're going to place our 3D print, again in the form of a stereolithography file. So when we first open it up, it will generally open up the previous print that was done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new work area. So I'm going File, New Work Area, or I can press the hotkeys Control and N if I want to as well. So when I've done that, I can then open or import my model by pressing Control and I, or again up in the File, Import Model. So I'm going to find the image, and it's the same image that we just printed obviously there, and it just brings it into the work area like that. Okay, now what we've obviously got to do is move this around to try and get it into the center of the workspace, and obviously move it around and angle it around so it's going to print from the most effective way, producing the least support material on the 3D printer. So what I'm going to do is just press center on platform like this, and as you can see it moves it to the center. Now if I was going to print it this way round, it wouldn't be that effective, because effectively support material would have to be produced all the way up here, all the way up in this internal section, and all the way up here. So really I want to rotate this round flat, yeah, on the right axis, so that we can lay it down flat like that. So I'm going to go over to the rotate section here. I'm going to choose the right axis, which is this X axis, so it's going to rotate this way round, and I'm just going to click it, the object to rotate here, and then just choose rotate 90 degrees there. So as you can see now, it's rotated round. Now if we print from this side going upwards, you can see there'll be no need for any support material on any of these sides. It's only those two holes at the top, so it really reduces the amount of support material used. Now with it in place like this, I'm going to press center on platform again. That will place it in the middle of the platform there, and I'm also going to choose place on platform, and that just makes sure that it's sitting on the bottom, it's not floating in mid-air in the space. Now obviously I've got the measurements of the product here. If I did bring this in and it wasn't in the right scale, then I could go onto the scale commands and change some of these scales, and that will automatically scale that to sort of the correct dimensions. But effectively it's always good practice to be, when designing your models on Autodesk Inventor, to be using the correct dimensions. So this student has, and that is effectively now ready to kind of print. So we're going to go over to the print section here, and we get a few options. So we're talking about the resolution, which is basically the quality of the print when it comes out in terms of layers, and the density, which is kind of how thick and solid the print will be. I found on a medium resolution and on a density of about 30, that produces a decent quality print. Now we've got two options here for a raft and a support. Now the raft is basically producing a printed base that the object will sit on top of, and this will help it to kind of print and avoid it sort of warping and twisting as it builds up the layers. And support material is obviously useful if we've got overhanging structures, like we saw when it was placed around the other way, it was placing up, or if we've got sort of circles and we need to fill in the hole like we have on this item. I don't think we'll need a raft, because it's quite a stable sort of shape. It's not got too much detail to it and stuff like that, but I am going to choose support material, as I said, because I've got those holes that I need to fill in. I'm then just going to click on estimate here, and what that basically does is it tells me a little bit about the amount of print time it's going to take to print the product in 3D, and also how much weight of filament I'm going to use. So if my spool of filament didn't have enough filament on it, I might want to change the filament and make sure that it's kind of ready to go. So it's going to take about 3 hours and 14 minutes to print, and the filament weight I'm going to use is about 40 grams. Okay, so when I'm ready there, I can just hit print, and it will start to send the data over and start 3D printing. Now the outcome that we produced is this. So this was the outcome. As you can see, it's printed out on a reasonably good quality. Now once it's printed like this, we can actually sort of file and sand and abrade some of these surfaces to get a better quality finish. And as you can see, there's no support material and no raft, with the exception of over here where we produced these holes. And as you can see, they've come out quite nicely, but this support material has been produced to kind of support it as it's printing up in the layers like that to produce the overall finish. But there's our first 3D print using the BSoft software.